Mountain Blade Fire and Sword takes place in the 17th century, or 1600s, during a time of great upheaval in northeastern Europe, focusing on the conflict between Poland, the Cossack Hetmanate, Russian Muscovites, the Crimean Khanate, and Sweden. While playing, I decided to work for the Russians, but needed money for better equipment, so I decided to raid the Crimean Khanate. Unfortunately, I run into a slight problem. That slight problem being a wall of bullets coming from the Janissaries. But why are there Janissaries, which originated from the Ottoman Empire in the Middle East, here in the Crimean Khanate, which is essentially located in modern-day Ukraine? Well, this video plans to answer that. But before we delve into this question, I should probably explain who the Janissaries are. Now, the Janissaries were formed around 1308 by the practice of raiding non-Muslim villages, primarily in the Balkans and the Anatolia, by the Ottomans. These captured children would become the Kapakulu, which are another Crimean unit that comes from the Ottoman practice. Now, the Kapakulu were slaves of sorts. They were forced to work, but were paid wages and could retire with government pensions. Although the practice of kidnapping would end in 1638, which was the time period of the game. The kidnapped children would undergo intense physical training, and this practice was known as the Devzerm system. I probably butchered that. And it was created in 1385 under the first Sultan. This was done to replace the tribal warriors who had made up the army and were often more loyal to the nobles of the Sultan than the Sultan himself. Now, their numbers and prestige in combat later allowed the Janissaries to form their own social class, which was very high up on the social hierarchy of the Ottoman meritocracy. The Janissaries had unique uniforms, including their silly little hats. They marched to music and lived in barracks, becoming one of the first modern militaries in the world. They trained with firearms and were the reasons that the Ottoman Empire became what was known as a gunpowder empire, which is an empire that expanded heavily during the age of gunpowder. The Ottoman Empire would expand from what is now Saudi Arabia to almost Central Europe and eastward towards Morocco. The Janissaries would be the main power to the empire, being the ones who took Constantinople, which was later changed to Istanbul. Istanbul and the Constantinople, and become the capital of the Ottoman Empire. So the Janissaries were famed for the combat skills in the Ottoman Empire and became the elite military corps as well as the guards to the king. But why are they in the Crimean Khanate? Well, the Crimean Khanate are a clan that abandoned their nomadic lifestyle within the Golden Horde and settled in the Crimea and Ukraine. Now, the Golden Horde was a khanate of the empire of Genghis Khan. When he died, his sons divided the empire into 7, khanates, which are basically sections of an empire. And after the clan would become a protectorate of Ottoman rule after the death of the Khan. I'm going to butcher this. Hassi I Gure. There was a battle between his sons to see who would take the throne, but the Ottomans invaded and claimed the coast, as well as capturing Meleni I Gure, who tried to fight against the Ottoman invasion of Crimea. He was released 3 years later and established as the new Khan after he recognized the Ottomans had international power over the Crimean Khanate. Now, the Ottomans established him as the illegitimate heir, and they relinquished their captured land of the Crimean coast back to the Crimean Khanate. The Ottomans would basically be more like allies and paid for slaves and for mounted archers for their military campaigns into Europe. However, later they would personally select the new Khan. Essentially, this makes the Crimean Khanate a protectorate, which is an independent nation that the Ottomans have control over but can tax and are obligated to help out. Now, the Ottomans needed to protect their, protectorate from foreign matters, and they needed Crimea's horse archers and slavery for its military campaigns into Persia and Poland. So to protect its ally and guarantee more horse archers and gain cheap slaves, the Ottomans sent Janissary battalions for the Crimean Khanate to use in its wars with Poland, Russia, and over land disputes, and over the Tartar slave raids made capturing their civilians, as well as constant raids and pillaging by the Cossack Hetmanate, which is a protectorate of Russia, but that's a completely different story. So in recap, the Janissaries, which are elite military corps from the Ottoman Empire, was sent to the Crimean Khanate to protect Ottoman interest as it was a protectorate of the Ottoman Empire. Thank you for sticking around to the end of the video, and if you enjoyed my content, please feel free to leave any ideas you have for a future video down in the comment section below. Feel free to subscribe, every subscriber matters, and feel free to suggest any video suggestions, and also, If I got something wrong historically or I left out some details, don't be afraid to leave a comment. I'm always interested to learn more about history and hearing to see what you guys have to say. See you guys on the next episode of this channel.